low, 100%. I would too. 59.18, right there. It's very slow, very grindy, both yesterday and today. Although directional, it's been slow and grindy. So that's why the trailing stops, you have to be very technical with where you want to set your trailing stops. There we go. So it's the same process as yesterday. Yesterday there should be no shorting until you have a lower low. Today there should be no longing until you have a higher high. This is a very slow downtrend. I would probably say 59.18 if you want to look for that. But even still, with this amount of call selling, put buying, with this amount of liquidity down at 59.10, 59.20, they're adding more to 5900. I would not take a long position until you have a 15-minute higher high close, because you want to be on the side of momentum, and right now the momentum is temporarily down. There we go, 59.22. Still pulling for the 59.20 liquid. All the way lower. No higher highs. Still going down. Trailing stop still should keep you short. Now that we've taken out a new low, you could move your trailing stop down, if you haven't already, to 59.32. And then once we take out 18, once we tap 18, that's when I would roll it down again to about 25. If you're in a scalping short right here. If we take out 18, hands on, because we're going down. Don't close the position. Give yourself an opportunity to maintain a short position. Trailing stops are your best friend here. Still going down. What would the upside move look like if they did that? Probably a lot like yesterday. Retrace back up to the highs. I don't know. But if I do want to take a long, like right now they're attacking 18, so I want to trigger a lower stop loss because they just took out new lows. When you take out new lows, you do not want to accept higher highs if you're short. Because that's the concept of the order book. If they start, like right now, they just took out the skew at 20. They just wiped all the liquidity at 20 here. So because they did that, if they bounce back up and start putting in higher highs, you want to be out of your downside trade because you're going to give back way too much profit. It's no longer technically sound for you to be in a short position on this particular time frame. So if they do flush it lower, bottom wick, start to take on higher highs, you want to be out of your short approximately 59.25, 59.26, especially with that liquidity up here at 32. And if they do that, most likely they'll take back out at least 40, 42, 45, somewhere in that lower 40 area. You're welcome. Okay. Down to the 18, the overnight low area. This is where you could expect them to defend to bounce back up here. Do I prefer the 15-minute to 10-minute? I do. I do prefer 15 over 10-minute. 15-minute is the, I guess, the first step into getting into midterm charts. Short-term charts is 3-minute, 1-minute, 5-minute, that type of stuff. When you start getting into the 15-30, you start getting into the midterm charts, and you can make a little bit more robust decision on holding a position. And right now, you're looking at this volume node. You've got the 59.18 overnight level, which is close to a support resistance flip. Right here, you have this liquidity. Prior support came back up. Now a second time prior resistance to support. And if this bounces, this will be a 3-time support test, which will only give more fuel for higher. If they hold this area, that tells me they're still maintaining higher liquidity. If they hold this 59.10, 59.15 block, that all this is a retreat to gather more ammunition. Think about they're attacking resistance here, and now they're out of ammunition. They have to come back and get more, so they come back and return to base. They gather up more buys, more order flow. They take out all that sell side, and now we have to make another attack higher. So as long as they maintain this block right here, it's only fuel for higher prices because they're not putting in lower lows yet. You have to listen to what the order book is trying to tell you. There is a lot of crazy calls to the upside for Nvidia too. Nvidia earnings is today after the bell. And it'll be interesting to watch. Faux show. So you see them came down and wiped out the main liquidity here. And instantly you see this cat being added to 59.42 and then down here to 59.09. And you're going to start to see a lot more shenanigans the closer we get to the end of the day. Why? We have FOMC minutes, 2 o'clock, and we have Nvidia earnings at 4:20, 20 minutes after the bell. Nvidia's 106%. Yeah, IV is insane. IV is insane. And there's some phenomenal positions on Nvidia coming on the books too. Phenomenal positions. There's even like a 210 strike. Someone put some heavy money on for Nvidia. Can you imagine if Nvidia went to 210? It's crazy. All right, we are still dropping down 59.21. Trailing stop should still keep you safe. This price action is slow enough where trailing stops should be your best friend. It's nice and slow. Right into our prior resistance or prior support area. Trump needs to tweet. Yeah, tell me about it. Need some volatility. I think we're all a little hungover from that volatility last month. That was crazy. What would Nvidia's market cap be at 210 a share? 6 trillion? 5 or 6 trillion? It's crazy. Man, this stuff is slow. Look at that 1 minute chart. Just slow grindy into this area. Perfect environment for trailing stops. You don't have to think about nothing. Just put it on and hands off. And watch it continue to break down. 59.18. I bet you we'll have some fireworks this afternoon, though. We have 1.3 billion in negative deltas on calls. So today is an option seller's position. 1.3 billion of sold calls and 943 million of purchase puts. So deltas are heavily negative, which is leading to the slow grindy down action. I said this morning, for the bulls, best case scenario is inside day. Worst case is they give back most, if not all, of yesterday's session. Based on the liquidity lower, based on the options being sold. It's just a matter of waiting. What's up, Dan? How you doing, buddy? How you doing? You're not doing good? Well, what's up? Why you not doing good? Damn. Can they hold this? Not yet. What do you have on the 5 minute here? Look, they just put in a new low. No longing until you can close a higher high in the 15. Look at the 15. That's all lower lows right there, baby. Look at that. All lower lows. So this is like I told you, I've said it 1,000 times. Or maintain a trailing stop on a short position until you take out a higher high. If they are going to bounce it, it's probably going to be somewhere in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Right here at the 59.18. So they just dumped it, put in a new low. If you want to quickly check the 1 minute to see if we have volume coming in, we do have volume coming in here, but it's not high. It's still among the lower of the volume. So if the only reason I use the 1 minute is for volume influx, if you have a volume come in, switch to the 5, switch to the 15, see if we have a bottom wick close. Those three parameters need to be met and a higher high until you go long. Until then, maintain short, maintain a trailing stop until 59.17 or below. I'm telling you, they are aggressively selling calls here. Aside from the fact that we're pulling liquidity down to 59.10, the bulls are they're struggling today after yesterday. Here we go, 59.18 still dropping. Yeah, I haven't been trading Nasdaq very much lately. It's too erratic when it gets like this. So ES has been much cleaner. 100% agree, Twizzy. 100% agree. 59.18 and dropping, baby. I've been seeing a number of posts and YouTube vlogs about the incredible downturn in the RV market. Do you mean like recreational vehicle RVs? Like Walter White type RVs? Okay. They related back to 2000, 2008 on how the same type of downtrend happened to them as well. People seem to think it's symptomatic of the overall health of the economy. I think that COVID-free money and free time from jobs rocketed the RV market to artificial highs, and that downtrend of last year or so as a pendulum swinging back. It could be a sign of things to come. Well, I think the pendulum is definitely going to swing back in a very large manner. I think we're all headed for a couple of rough years. Couple of rough years. Do you know how much? Do you know how much it is for two Mexican pizza combos at Taco Bell? Mexican pizza, two tacos, and a drink combo. Do you know how much it is? It's $30 for two Mexican pizza combos. Like things are pricey out there, man. Things are pricey. Mexican pizza used to be like the poor people's fast food. Not anymore. Girlfriend and I are rewatching Breaking Bad season 3. Great season. Great show. 4 Big Macs at $30. It's crazy, man. Crazy. We are still dealing with 59.20, 59.18 with no bouncing. So do not long until you have a higher high. My daughter's a manager at the local Chick-fil-A. They have grilled chicken sandwich that cost over $10 for just the sandwich. It's a crazy time we're living in, man. Pull the plug. Pull the plug. Still coming down, 59.18. My only advice to you is to put on a trailing stop and hands off. Over and over and over. Let's see if we can get... What's the 50%? What's the 50% of yesterday? Of the imbalance. Ooh, look at that. So not only is 59.10 the 50%, it's also the support retest of yesterday's technical level. So 59.10 is a juicy, juicy level. That happened to me. I ordered a grilled chicken club from Chick-fil-A, and the girl taking my order said $10 and whatever changed, and she went, wow. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Not to mention 59.10, so we have a trifecta of data at 59.10. We've got the 50% rule, we've got the top wick, which is a support resistance flip, and we have the skew on the book, 59.10 right here on Bookmap. All down. Can y'all see my cursor on Discord? I think, yeah, there you go. So 59.10. I think that's where they're heading before a sweep bottom wick. There we go. There's a local deli that sells a stacked sandwich for $12.50 with a free cookie. Man, I'd love to have that. Stacked sandwich. Sounds delicious. I think a good quality sandwich is underrated. Underrated. I don't see any major icebergs or stops on the book, so it's all liquidity here. Very light stops and icebergs. And we're just pressing lower. Can you use it for stocks? Absolutely. So you can use Bookmap for anything that has order the volume, order flow, which is everything. Stocks and stocks, ES, Nasdaq, futures. We are still pressing lower. Lower lows on pretty much every time frame. Do not long anything until you have a higher high or they pull all the lower liquidity. We're just slowly grinding lower. It's taken us every bit of 2 hours to grind down 11 points. So it's a very slow day. Do you know how quickly we moved 11 points last month? We used to move 60 points in the time it took us to move 11. It was good times. Great oldies, 96.3. Still pressing lower. 59.17 and dropping. Look at all this liquidity right here. Oh, man. We are down, baby. We are down. Did OM log off? Nope, I'm here. Do I have an S6? Not yet. Not yet. $59.17, hanging out. Look at the 15-second chart. Look at that. Just oscillating down. Very patternized. All the way down. Nothing sustained. Buying is met with slightly more selling every time. I agree it's bad, but not with the overall premise of the articles. Current RV market can be seen as coming in necessarily indicator. There are only a handful of actual producers who market under a couple of dozen of names. All got greedy and made mistakes. Yeah. Maybe it's time to get an RV. Although I'm not an RV type of guy. Apparently, Kathy Woods has bought $4.7 million worth of Nvidia the day before earnings. RVs are fun until someone has to clean out the sewage. Yeah. RVs are fun until you realize you have to drive 15 hours to go on vacation. I'm good. I'd love an RV if I could fly it somewhere. Do we have a high on the 15-minute? Negative. No higher high, no longy longy. Flying RVs, where are flying cars? Tell me about it. Tell me about it. We're about to, it appears. First green candle on the 15 minutes since the open. I loved RVing with the family. Campfires, fishing, guitars, let the kids run and play. Good times. Yeah, yeah. Here's a 2025 Forest River Timberwolf. 36-foot RV for $41,000. Looks pretty nice. Looks pretty nice. All right, so we have our first 15-minute green candle. They removed some of the lower liquidity. See this lighter stuff. They've absorbed the 59.25 liquidity. And our first instance of support from the buyers, right here. 59.16. So now, most stops should be tripped for that, and we should be considering the possibility of going into a long, if you want to do such a thing. It's got to close. it up. Dip before the real rip? I don't know. We still have to have a close over higher highs. We haven't been able to do it yet. Even now, they're top wicking this thing back down. Look, they still have 59.10 on liquidity. If they fail this candle, play to 59.10. That's where I would see a real bounce happening. 59.10. Top wick back over. Still top wicking. Is that a 3 candle reversal on the 5 minute? On the 5 minute, um, it's not something I would normally how I'd want to see it set up, but yeah. But that's precisely why you want a longer time frame confirmation on such a big move. The bigger the sell-off that you want to play the bounce on, the longer the time frame you have to confirm on. And now we're getting a green candle on the 15 get clobbered all the way back down under support. And if this fails, 59.10. Continue to climb. Easy peasy. This is very slow stuff. It's not a lot to analyze here. Obviously, everyone's trying to buy the dip after the past couple of things because that's what retail does. Retail wants to buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip because that's the hot hand theory. They think that what's been happening is going to continue to happen. So if you want to buy the dip here, you'd have to wait for the sign. We're already down, what, 50, 40 points from the highs, almost? Interesting. I didn't know this. How did I miss this? All right, still top wicking. Here's the 5-minute. Here's the 15. Here's the 1. Very slow grinding price action. Oh man, this is boring. A few more minutes left. What y'all think? What questions do you have? How do you enter a downtrend like that after missing the initial 59.56 sweep? Um, well, there's two parts to entering a downtrend before it kind of really turns into chasing. One is at your initial target, which my initial target was 59.56, which we did not get. The second one is when you begin to put in lowered lows. So whenever you have whatever time frame you're looking at, whenever you take out a prior candle low and close it, that's your indication that the order book has changed and we're getting ready to enter downtrend. And that's where you want to take entry. In this case, 15-minute would have gave you an entry at approximately 59.38. Shorter time frame would have given you an even shorter, sooner entry. Wow. There's another top wick. And this should get us to 59.10. Oh, man. Man, this is tight. What's going on here? Look at these two 1-minute candles. That was a 50-cent candle 2 times in a row. Man, this is tight. 50-cent candles. I haven't seen that in a long time. All the liquidity still says 59.10 though. I'm going to shut it down here in 15 and come back at 3:30. I think that's a smart move, Danny. Old Danny Gabagoo. Monte Carlo tomatoes. Sounds delicious, bro. Sounds delicious. Can't wait for some. Can't wait for some tomatoes. Woo! Man, this is slow. A couple more minutes here. We're going to call it. Nothing to really speak of here. Nothing really too long, of course. Not yet, at least. Until the signs are there. $59.20. It's taken us all day to get down like 10 points, so we're going to wait here. I still think 59.10 will be tested either before the Nvidia earnings, but 15 and 10, we have the support resistance. Anybody holding any positions right now? Anybody playing any Nvidia plays into earnings? Coming back up, 59.20. Nvidia's also starting to break now above, probably a good long opportunity. I mean, the price action has changed. The order book has changed, so that's your first signal. But I still need a higher high. Whatever time frame you need, I need a higher high to close to go long. Even if it's only a retest of 35, but that's what I need. I'm long off an ES trendline I'd run through 59.16 because I was willing to hold down to 08. Nice, J-Dog. I love it. Trend lines, I got to hand it to them. If there's anything I'm willing to tip my hat to, it's going to be trend lines. They have proved to be quite valuable the past couple of weeks / months. You could have made some killer money shorting and longing the big trend line pushes the past couple of weeks. Still top-wicking, though. You see the 15-minute. The bulls can't hold nothing. Still 2 top wicks. This will fail it down to 59.10 if it holds. Top wick, top wick, top wick. All the way down. ES keeps failing at top wick and it's hourly low. Yeah, buddy. 15-minute top wick sweeps right here. Can we get it? Slow as molasses, man. Slow as molasses. Oh, any analysis on ES right now? Sorry, I can't listen. Yep, 59.10. Why do they shift the liquidity up to 59.15? I don't know. I don't know why. I just know that they did it, which tells me that's more of a pull. So I'm going to go for 59.15 to down to 10 on down until I see any high volume bottom. Because the foundational VPA look that I need is a bottom wick with volume and then a close over a prior long. That's all VPA stuff. Once I see that, we can get into the intricacies of what, how, when, why, where. The order flows are now pulling 59.15 down to 59.10. There's a whole bunch going on at 59.10, so most likely that's where we'll really get a bounce. One more flush down to 10, bottom wick, and then most likely that's where they'll hit it. Ooh. Is that real? That may be the best deal I've ever seen on Palmetto State right there. $400 for that baby right there. $400. All right, y'all. Coming up on 11:30, which will culminate the stream here, we have two 15-minute bottom top wicks here. We have a liquidity pull on Bookmap down to 59.15 and down to 59.10. That's ultimately where my target is going, to 59.10. Once they sweep out this area here, I would roll your stop down to 19 and hold it to 59.10. That's it. Very slow, very grindy day. We're not missing much. And that's about it. So we do have FOMC minutes this afternoon. We have Nvidia earnings after the bell, so we have a lot going on this afternoon. Yeah, it says, can you be patient through the slow action to find the true liquidity zones? That's your key there, especially after what we had last week. Hope you have a good rest of the day. I'll see y'all bright and early tomorrow morning for another day. It'll be Thursday, going into GDP and PCE and all that other fun stuff. So hope you have a good rest of the day. I'm out. See you.